2004, you had an interview with The Independent in IE. I guess that's an Irish.
Yeah, Independent 2014, yeah.
Yeah, and you were seen riding your bike and training near the Autodromo Internacional Algarve in Portugal. You already talked a little bit about Portugal and that you want to do something in Portugal at the end of your professional career. Is that where you will prepare for the 2016 Paralympics in Rio?
At the moment I'm preparing here. But that's where I've prepared since 2010. I would go there every winter, spend a couple of months, 4 or 5 months, and then come back to Europe and race around Europe. So I go there in December, January, stay there till May, and then from May to September, October you'd race. So yeah, for me it's perfect. Portugal the people are really nice, the facilities are perfect, economically it makes sense to train there, and I don't know, it depends on what opportunities open up in the next couple of months.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm looking at different avenues. I don't know why I'm going back to study, because for me it's a struggle, but I think it's important. Before I transition from athlete into work, I think I just need to work on myself, for a year and maybe get the master's. So I've looked at the Real Madrid Sports Management Masters. I've just been accepted to that. So that's one option. Another option is to study here. Another option to study in Dublin. So we'll figure it out. The next while we'll figure it out, but I'm pretty flexible.
Yeah, I guess you must be if you have some kind of physical disability. I think sometimes you really have
to be open-minded.
Yeah.
You have to be able to adapt for sure, and patience is a big thing. Patience is important in every walk of life, but you saw we're waiting for a lift, and people want. So I would consider myself a patient person.
It's interesting because I think we're living in a very fast-paced world right now, and I guess it's sometimes really hard for you to.
For me.
Or maybe for the people around you.
Yeah, but when it comes to timing, if I told you I'd meet you at 12 o'clock, I'm going to show up at 12:15. It doesn't bother me. I know it should bother me, but timing doesn't bother me too much. I don't lose sleep over 10 minutes.
Okay. For people like me who never sat in a hand cycle, could you describe the major differences to a regular bike?
It's the same gear system, so it's the same. You chain propulsion, you move a wheel, and you get going. But it's kind of like a push-up and a pull-up, kind of like a bench press and a cable row. It's kind of like that in a circular motion. But people see it and say, "Oh, that must be very hard," but because there are 30 gears, you can go as hard and as easy as you want. But I know anybody that's in the wheelchair that sits in it, they love it. They really love it because it's good for health. If you're in a wheelchair, you need to be fit and strong to be independent. You have to get in and out of cars or to do whatever. So, I think everybody in a wheelchair should have a hand cycle. Should have a bike,
Yeah.
But it's uphill. It's slow. It's hard work uphill. Downhill, man, it's a rocket.
It's fun.
It's fast. And where I train up at the Autodrome, there's a mountain called Monchique.
60 kilometers down.
You come down, man, fast. So
Yeah,
I like a bit of that.
Yeah, the guy you had the interview with, he said he was a former professional cyclist.
Paul Kimmage, yeah, he's famous. Yeah. He's a famous journalist. So he would have worked on the Lance Armstrong case, and he came out. That was great to get those guys involved because they are some of the biggest names in the sport of cycling, and for them to take an interest in paracycling was brilliant. But yeah, he loved it. I did try to drop him on the downhill section.
Yeah, he said he had trouble keeping up with you.
He wasn't in great shape at the time.
You've been part of the Sky Academy Sports Scholarship Program. What was it like to be around other professional athletes that were doing different sports?
Yeah, I love it. I love brainstorming, finding out what they're doing, how they do it, what's going on in their lives, and you just find out that everyone's just a normal person. It doesn't make a difference if they're Alonso or if they're Ronaldo or whoever. It's just normal people doing what they love doing. And it's interesting. And I love even working with you guys, hearing everyone's story, how you go about your day, because you guys are combining study and sports at an elite level. So I have massive respect for what you guys are doing, and I'll take inspiration. I'll learn some stuff from you guys. So for me, I'm always looking to learn from other people. Because that's the best way, I think.
Yeah. No, that's something I've learned during the time of being a diabetic. That's you can learn as much from them as they can learn from you.
Yeah. Even with the Sky Academy thing, visiting schools, so you visit like 12 to 17-year-olds. I learned so much.
Yeah.
Some of them are inspiring, some of their stories and stuff. Yeah, so it was a really good experience. So I think you learn more from the students than the other athletes.
Yeah, I like that. In an interview with Transport Sport, you said you wanted to be a role model to others, which we've just talked about briefly, and show that anything is possible. Who and or what has inspired you to become the person and athlete you are today?
I'd say family and friends, really. In the village I grew up, there was always talk about getting footballer, and I'd say the local footballers who were good, who were playing county level.
Mm-hmm.
So within our club there was Joe Casey, Derek Heave, and all these guys who had gone on to become All-Ireland champions. So I would have looked up to those guys for sure. And then one guy I always looked up to was Paul McGrath, because he's a famous soccer player. That's the reason I support Aston Villa as a football club, so I'll never forgive him for that. But he was an orphan in Dublin. He was a black guy, so he was getting racial abuse at the time. And he just so many issues to deal with, and he just comes across as such a nice guy, such a genuine guy, and what a fantastic athlete as well. So I always looked up to Paul McGrath. Schumacher, I always love watching Schumacher race. The people who are at the top. Yeah. I always love somebody who overcomes an obstacle.
I mean, Schumacher has to overcome an obstacle right now.
For sure, yeah. That's interesting because there's nothing about him,
Mm-hmm.
And that's what sport is. Once you're out of the limelight, they shut him down. If he was winning a race, or just say he got drunk and fell out of a nightclub and was on Facebook to his wife or something, that'd make the news. But now there's nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
They left and forgotten. Yeah. It happens That's
what happens in sport.
Yeah. That's part of the business. There's too many.
It doesn't have to be always, but
there's too many. And I think that's a problem about media today, that they don't care about the ones that aren't successful, aren't in a major crisis right now. They only care about the ones that are.
Yeah, maybe I think they're too obsessed with success.
Yeah. No, I would agree. 3 years ago, Joey IE did a story on you. In the interview you said, so once you slap yourself and stop feeling sorry for yourself, you sit yourself up and set a few challenges. Is that the key message you want people to take away from? I know you give events and speeches. Is that the message you want them to take away from these kind of things?
No, I'd never give anyone a message, or if they're just looking at, I suppose, how to overcome adversity, I suppose, would be one thing, but just to see what's possible, Mm-hmm. And one thing I always try to get people to think is don't take themselves too seriously. People take themselves, if you go into a room and you think everyone's looking at me, or if I slip up here or whatever, it's the end of the world. If you have this career path and you have an accident, next thing you end up in hospital for 7 months, don't fret about it. Life will be fine. Nowadays everything is Facebook and everyone's smiling and everything's happy. Oh man, it's such a pain in the ass, because is that what we are saying to the next generation? It's like, this is how to live your life. For me, it's not good. So we just said, don't take yourself seriously, enjoy life, and I think it's important to have goals. And to have so if you're going to do something, find out what the reason you're doing it is. So just say why are you here playing soccer? If you can't honestly answer that question, then you're going to end up going astray. When it comes to that crunch time to make a tough decision, you're going to stray from it. So just be very clear on your goals, your values, and what you want to achieve. I think for me that's
That's the biggest part.
Yeah, and figuring out stuff like that. Like just back home there, the people finish high school in Ireland and they're 17 years of age, and they're supposed to know what they want to do for the rest of their life.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. Well, it's nice to hear it from other people, because I get asked that question quite a few times. Like, what kind of message do you want people to take away from the speeches and presentations I give? And I would answer it a little bit differently, but I guess that's what makes it interesting, you know.
Yeah.
Different perspectives on life, different perspectives on the challenges we have to face. And it's not just people with disabilities. I mean, everybody has to face some kind of adversity in their life. So, yeah.
Yeah, and like I'm a big advocate of sport. You know, it just keeps you healthy. A healthy mind, a healthy body. That old adage, it makes sense. You have a healthy body, you know, especially nowadays with mental health issues. And in Ireland, it's such a big thing that suicide amongst young men is big. So I think, you know, the benefits of the social benefits of sport, the health, you know, the physiological benefits of sports, they're brilliant, you know. And then I think to break down boundaries, it's massive. So I know in Ireland, between North and South of Ireland, they would have used sport a lot to rebuild communities. See it in Palestine, in Africa. I think sport is one of the best ways to
Connect.
people. Yeah, without any prejudices.
One other thing I want to talk about, besides you, my disability feels a little bit, I would say, less severe, you know, being a diabetic. However, as a type 1 diabetic, people often ask me if I would undergo surgery of some sort, or if it could cure my chronic disease. If it was possible to reverse your paralysis, would you do it?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You would?
Just make things easier. Yeah, absolutely. Because I would still be the same person. I still have the same values and everything. It just means I'd be easier. It would be easier, for sure. But like you're talking about every single person, you know, whatever the disability or not disability, it weighs differently on different people. So I would never compare them, because they're so vast and they affect people in such different ways. And I would say definitely that I would take if there was, for sure. Because, you know, it's not just pushing around, you know, you've got your bowel, your bladder, lots of different, you're susceptible to infections and stuff. So for sure, yeah, quite good.
Marco Tully, the interviewer from Joey IE, finished his story with the following sentence. Listening to or watching Mark Rohan in action confirms that Paralympics aren't just overcoming incredible obstacles, they're pushing the boundaries of what humans are capable of. Would you say that there's a major difference between healthy athletes and athletes with a disability?
I wouldn't know, and the media like to push that superhuman side of things, and I'm not a fan of it, but for them it's just to, you know, it's to sell a story or whatever. So I wouldn't know. I'd say it's the exact same thing. So people overcome. Just say, for example, somebody like I saw Victor Moses playing yesterday for West Ham. He lost both his parents when he was 11 years of age. Now, is he any less of an athlete because he's got 2 legs? For me, no. It's totally individual. And you hear so many. Like there's one guy from Haiti who raced in London Olympics, London Paralympics, and in the earthquake in Haiti in
2011, I think it was
9 or something like that, 7 or whatever. Sorry, I forget when it was exactly. But he lost his wife and his 9 kids, and he ended up paralysed. But you can be sure it's tougher on him losing his kids than ending up paralysed. So I don't buy this whole superhuman thing. I just think everyone's their own individual, and riding a bike is riding a bike.
Yeah. Lastly, I'd like to ask you to describe yourself with 3 words. What are the 3 words that best describe the competitive professional athlete Mark Rohan?
Oh man, you for real? I would have to say I would be very determined. Prepared. If I know I'm racing next year in South Carolina or wherever, I find out about the track, I find out about the temperatures, I do as much as I can to be well prepared. And I would say I would be compassionate.
So, what are the 3 words that best describe the humane private Mark Rohan?
Well, I suppose humane. I'm very social aware. I think I am. You know,
I would say so.
I
would agree.
Yeah. I want to definitely. I spent 10 days in Zambia last year, worked with the Alan Cairns project, and I want to make it a goal of mine to do that every year for the rest of my life. So I have this
kind of giving back.
Yeah, like I need this. You leave things better than you got them. That would be one thing that's definitely opened up in the last while. So that's one. Come on, I'm struggling here.
2 more.
Yeah.
And then you'll be done. Hey, if that's all the most important thing to you,
I think
that's fine with me.
I think I would be. I'm open-minded. Open-minded to new cultures and new experiences.
Alright, I think that's good enough for me. If you have anything you want to add that you think should go into the story, into the article?
Think nowadays, anyone who's any questions about anything, you know, I'm doing a bit of nutrition with you guys. All you got to do is go online, check it out. If you're not feeling well, if you're down, if you're looking for support in some way, the internet nowadays, just Google it. You will basically get the answers, and you can get in touch with these people. So nowadays, more information is becoming accessible to people. And for me, that's the key. Is education is the key in everything. You know, whether it's fighting drugs in sport, or if it's racial discrimination, or if it's religion, education, whatever. That's the key. So.
All right.
That's that, yeah.
Thank you for the interview,
Thank
and
you,
it was really nice spending some time with you.
Cheers.